Hi, and welcome to my presentation about the Theater of Rome. So in Rome, like many other parts of Italy, it was heavily influenced by the Greek Empire and their culture. However, Rome was far less interested in the arts and put their energy into other activities such as agriculture, the army, building, and engineering. It really wasn't until Rome became known as the Great Republican Rome that they started to indulge in theater and drama, which was around 240 BCE. So Rome had festivals that they would indulge in, which they referred to as ludi. They included acrobats and rope dancing, which competed with the plays for the audience's attention. Originally, these festivals only featured one play, but as popularity for theater grew, so did the number of shows. The saying in the book goes, "No Roman tragedy that was meant to be performed survives." There was Seneca, who was a famous playwright, and he wrote 9 tragedies that have survived to this day. But scholars believe that those plays weren't even meant to be performed. Tragedy wasn't really a popular genre, and comedy was actually really popular among Romans. People believe that tragedy didn't appeal to Romans because they lacked that intrigue in concepts such as philosophy and ethics. As for a few big playwrights in the business, there was Plato and Terence. Together, they have 27 complete comedies that have survived to this day. Both of these playwrights were heavily influenced and inspired by Greek comedy when writing. However, neither of them used a chorus. Plato was an actor and playwright. He was known for loosely linked scenes, visual gags, ludicrous characters, and breaking the fourth wall. Terence often combined 2 or more Greek plots into one show, had realistic characters, and careful, well thought out actions. When it came to scenes, costumes, and masks in the Roman theater, Rome was known for their facade stages, and they were actually the first to use a front curtain. They also utilized machines that could rotate and reveal painted scenes, which they called pericatoi. Most of the actors in comedy wore masks, and the audience could contain anywhere between 10 to 15,000 people. There were 3 authors in the Roman Empire that created basically how-to manuals on how to build theaters and write plays. There was Vitruvius. He wrote a 10-volume piece titled De Architectura on how to plan out a city and theaters. Then there was Horace, who wrote Ars Poetica on how to write good plays. And Seneca had 9 tragedies that have survived to this day. Vitruvius's work was incredibly misinterpreted, but still had a major impact on Renaissance designers. Horace's piece suggested creating a separation between comedy and tragedy, create a unity of time and place, and the impact that drama has. Seneca's tragedies had a major impact on future playwrights and writers. There were a couple different types of theatrical entertainments that were incredibly popular during the Roman times. There was the pantomime, which was a solo dance performed by a non-speaking masked performer, and a mime who didn't wear a mask and was really popular in the Roman theater. Pantomimes were often comic, but they didn't always have to be. Mimes, because they didn't wear masks, were often very attractive or very ugly. Pantomimes also included women, which was the only theatrical act in Rome that allowed women on the stage. So there was a lot of opposition to theater, and eventually there was the fall of the empire. Christianity heavily opposed theater, and this was due to the sex and violence that was portrayed in the shows and plays. Eventually, the Roman Empire became too big to control, and eventually that led to the disintegration of the Western Empire by the mid-6th century. Although the Christian Church continued to unite part of the Western Europe, it was a futile attempt, and most of the Western Empire eventually fell. However, the Eastern Empire continued to flourish. The Byzantine theater was not really well known by scholars even to this day, and that's due to a language barrier between scholars now and writers then. However, they believe that theater in the Byzantine Empire possibly included mimes and heavily influenced Greek tragedy and continued the exportation of performances. Although it is not certain, scholars suggest it is likely that the Byzantine Empire influenced Italian and medieval theater. Thanks for watching my presentation. I hope you learned a bit about theater in Rome.